Welcome to another Empires and Puzzles Books interview video. I would like to thank the community for the incredibly positive response that you've had to this series. This has been really a joy and a gift to be able to have the opportunity to interview some of these top players in the game. We do have another excellent player in this interview, and hopefully this doesn't end anytime soon, but we have a couple other great players that are going to be coming up. So stay tuned, stay subscribed. Get the notifications when these interviews are coming out because we're learning some serious tips and tricks from these people.
Okay, welcome everybody to the sixth in the series of Empires and Puzzles Books interviews as we explore some personal conversations with some of the top players in the game. I am Jeff, otherwise known as JekylandHyde in game or Empires and Puzzles Books on YouTube. So appreciate the incredibly positive feedback we've gotten from this series. I'm super excited about our guest today. We have a couple new things happening here. First time we're interviewing two players at once, and I'm excited that we have our first female player. So we have uclapack and Dater, probably two of the more famous EMPers and YouTubers. So we're just going to jump in and just start asking a bunch of questions and see where this conversation goes. So I think many of us first got introduced to you through both your YouTube channel and through the events, the challenge events, because your names are just always dominating these events. So we're going to talk about the challenge events today a little bit. We're going to talk about Mythic Titans because that's another spot where we're seeing you and your entire team. We'll talk a little bit about the Avengers overall, and at some point we need to talk about your insane rosters.
Roster.
All right. Well,
not mine.
I thought I was doing well with my roster, but we'll get there. So let's jump in and talk about challenge events first. And I would like to, since this is the first time we've ever spoken directly, I really want to thank you for the legendary tutorial that you all have on your YouTube channel on how to get top scores. I think that is one of the biggest places players can go to learn the basic, not even basic strategy, the in-depth strategy on how to conquer legendary. You probably have 1 million views on those videos, and probably 300,000 of them are me just going back and watching them over and over and over, because I really studied for a couple months when I first got into legendary challenging. In fact, if it wasn't for those videos, I don't know that I would have gotten into legendary, because I was floating around in rare forever, just got a lot of max 3s. So big start off with a thank you for that. And I think it speaks highly of your abilities that you can spill your secrets and put it out there and you still kick butt and dominate. So I think that is both generous and tempting to the challengers that are out there. So let's talk about some of your results. My understanding is that uclapack has taken the first spot in legendary 8 times, and Dater, you've done it twice.
Well, if you want to be technical, all right. The first 2 places that she finished first was actually me. I did it for her on her account. So, and in my account, I didn't care about it. I really wasn't pushing much, just pushing for top 10. So her first was it the first 2, right? 1 and 2.
Yeah, you got the hood for me.
Yeah, I got the hood for her. So 1 and 2 was all me. And then eventually it transitioned over to her that she was able to do it. And what really set us apart was basically showing her how the quick movements with your thumbs and the items and stuff like that. She wasn't quite doing that fast enough, so we had to do some thumb training for her. Get her thumbs really working quite fast and quickly to get that movement with those items. And that was kind of the big kicker. And then once she learned how to do that, then she's able to do it on her own. But I really won it twice. You
got
twice?
The hood one costume, like avatar, so and you've got the owl.
Yeah. Okay.
I've never won the owl one.
Oh yeah, the owl's mine.
Yeah, that was gonna be one of my. That was actually gonna. That's a good segue into one of my questions that I had prepared. So I saw that uclapack has taken first in all of the I'll say traditional challenge events, because we have the new ones that are just released and are coming out. So in the 5 that have historically been part of the game for the last few years, UCL, you have taken first in all of them, but Guardians of Telltale.
Yeah, because I stopped her from doing it.
So I'm curious, what about that particular event do you think is the stopper for you that you haven't been able to claim top spot?
Because I told her not to do it.
No. My biggest issue was when I first started doing events. I only had Wukong, and Guardians Reflect is yellow. So that was a big obstacle. I do have Tarlik and Mickey now, but events are so much harder to get first and not worth it. So.
Yeah, it seems like now to get first, you have to have at least a handful of God boards that just are
and
absolutely
a chest
miraculous.
in like every single one.
Yeah, and you brought up an interesting point that we haven't talked about in any of the other previous interviews, and I'm glad you brought it up. And that is actually, how do you physically play your phone? I'm a one-finger player, and my wife does the double thumbs, which my brain can't wrap myself around holding the phone and doing 2 thumbs. But you're both 2 thumbers?
Yeah.
I actually have changed to index finger and thumb. Yeah, I go like this.
Yeah, like that? I'm just straight, like, so I got my phone here, right?
Like
right.
Left thumb,
so and
right
I
index
just use
finger.
my thumb, so that's something. But basically.
Yeah, I do the index finger for the right hand.
No,
Maybe I got to practice with the 2 thumb things. Maybe that's holding me back.
Yeah.
It spams items quicker.
Well, people will comment sometimes, because if you watch any of my videos where there's anything that's time related, like Titans or the challenge events or the Ninja Tower, I have my heroes set up right to left, and I feel like I'm one of the only players that does that, and I do that because I'm an index finger player with my right hand, so I start firing right to left. It's a little quicker. But the 2 thumb things, my wife was just talking to me about this in the last challenge event, because I think my phone screen's actually damaged from pounding. Everybody's comments how I pound on the screen. So I'm having a problem with weapons not firing when I'm tapping them.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's probably time for a new phone. We had that issue with her account. So when we first started the event, and then I kind of had a new phone at that time, I was able to sling out items like really quickly. And then when she got her phone, it was an older phone, there's like a slight delay in it, probably a half second between throwing out items. Yep. And then she saw this, like, wow, I thought that was just part of the game, just the lag of the phone, lag of the game. I was like, no, that's just your phone. Your phone's just old. So I think that day she went out.
Big difference.
She went out and bought a new phone.
And
so she could compete with the event.
Nice.
And then when she got it, she just started taking over and started doing well with it. So the phone makes a big difference, believe it or not. If you have those older style phones.
Well, the catch-22 I'm in is I have a really nice phone, but it's work issued.
Oh.
So I'm actually considering if I want to just buy a phone, actually just to dedicate to E&P, but we'll see if I go there with it. So now another thing I noticed about your play style, you obviously are dominating all over the place in Legendary, but I don't think we've seen your name too often in Rare, if at all, and only occasionally in Epic. You want to talk a little bit about your feelings on the Rare and Epic challenge events?
We did Epic at the beginning. We always went for top 10 for Legendary and Epic. Never Rare. We weren't really big on Rare. It
wasn't effective, cost effective for us to do it, really.
Yeah.
All the items that we had just wasn't effective.
And then
plus,
we didn't have the heroes either.
Yeah, we wanted to focus on Legendary and Epic. Those are the big ones. More items, I believe.
Yeah.
So that's kind of reason why I never pushed Rare. I don't think I really ever pushed Epic, but you, Epic.
Yeah, me and Warflord went at it a couple of times in Epic. Epic was always a little harder.
For me, I started out Rare just because I built an army of 3-star heroes and I had a lot of emblems on them. And the thing that got frustrating with me with Rare is it is absolutely chest dependent. You have to have at least one, if not multiple chests on every level to really place well. And I didn't really notice that actually until I started watching your tutorial on Legendary. And I'll tell you, when you beat yourself up with Rare, Legendary suddenly seemed much easier. Like the pace and the way you spelled it out, I don't want to say it's simple. I don't want to give anybody the wrong idea out there, but the pace is a little more reasonable. Epic, I struggle. I've only been in top 10 in Epic once, and it was actually just squeezed in at 10th. To me, the pace of Epic is the hardest, and the item usage is limited as far as being able to clear levels. You know, it's, you don't clear them out as quickly as you will with 3 stars with tile damage or with 5 stars with the heavy weapon. So I find myself a little kind of held back in Epic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always felt like Legendary was the easier one just because I had better heroes for it too. And I had the items also. So rare and Epic, you don't have to use as many items, but you have to have better boards. So it's
more
harder.
flags means more money.
Yep.
Yep, of course. Well, see, that's one of the reasons I've always farmed for XP. 91 flags is nice to have. So
Yes.
What level are you now?
I just turned 100. He's way up there. He's,
147 now.
You're 147?
He's crazy.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
Yeah, I have the game farming all day. It's farming now while we're talking. So
Do you have the images burned into your phone yet?
yeah, it is actually.
Yeah.
You can see Empires and Puzzles when the phone is off.
I've had 2 phones like that. It burns the screen.
So now here's another thing that's very interesting that I found curious about you all from the last few months. If a year ago we were having this interview and we said, Data UCLA, in the next year, they're going to be releasing this thing called the Ninja Tower and this thing called the Mythic Titan. And we explained how they would work. I suspect I would be in the majority that would bet that the Ninja Tower would have been your event based on your dominance in the challenge events. But as we have seen with the leaderboards, you're actually focus switched a little bit, right? You're completely crushing it in Mythic Titans. I started the Ninja Tower out going all in with items and just wanted to see how it would go. But I found the Mythic Titans to be a lot more fun just because I can include the Alliance in it. And it's kind of a selfish move for Ninja Tower. It's all me. So I really enjoy the team aspect of the Mythic Titan. It's more like Wars. And which that's always been our favorite is Wars. So we'll get into Wars next. Let's talk a little bit more about the Tower and the Titans, because one of the things that's come up with some of the other interviews is they're both resource heavy with Hunter's Lodge level weapons, which are hard to come by. It doesn't matter, you're in a top alliance that's killing 14s every day. You're still limited in the amount of Titan parts you can possibly get. We're limited in the amount of heavy weapons we can purchase in game if we want to spend the dollars. And the last resort is maybe you get some of them out of the alchemy lab. So how are you, other than holding back or scaling back a little bit on Ninja Tower, how are the Avengers figuring out the in-game economy of keeping up with those heavy weapons?
It's definitely tough. It's nice that they do the deal that we can share, but we've determined we need 30 Hurricanes, 30 Alteration Scrolls to a piece before that deal to make our scores the best. So we are harpooning 2nd tier in Avengers, which is unlike pretty much any other alliance. They either do 1 or none, which helps give us more opportunity for skulls and hearts. I've got plenty of hearts. The skulls I'm a little low on, but
yeah, I'm in the same boat. I think for those who aren't familiar with the harpooning economy, the math, the investment on added harpoons to get to the 2nd tier is really terrible because we only get 2 extra Titan parts. However, they are 2 extra Titan parts. It's almost like they're like the 4-star ascension items of building weapons. Like you only have so many chances to get them. So sometimes it might be worth pushing an alliance to get those. 7 Days Ascended that I'm in, we do the first tier and do the second tier on rare, since rare already has boosted loot. So we boost the boosted loot for that second tier. But even keeping up with harpoon production, that creates a different problem with, again, it's a
Right.
scale of economy to keep up with that. Seeing that the Mythic Titan is happening every single month and the tower only happens every other month, are the Avengers, if you're at liberty to share, concerned about keeping this pace with the Mythic Titans and that in-game economy?
They actually are beasts. They wanted to do 3 tiers on the Titans. I said, no, we're not doing 3. That's way too much. They are Titan hitting machines. It's an awesome group. So
Well, we're dancing around results. Let's talk about some results. How have you all done? We've had one of each of the Mythic Titans now. Where has the Avengers finished?
we've gotten one on every single one we've had so far. So Avengers are kicking butt on Mythic Titans.
How did you all handle the incredible in-game frustration with the lack of defense down on this last Titan?
Oh, that was terrible. It's really fun to hit a Titan and see like that million point score. And then this one, we were getting like 300K, 400K. And I was like, this sucks. So it wasn't as fun for us, but we still did good. It was just, yeah, I had 2 Fogs leveled to 370. I had 2 Evelyns maxed, ready to go, and it didn't even matter.
Wow. Yeah, and I saw a lot of players online that were commenting about, well, we're all in the same boat. It sucks for everybody. It's like, but the psychology of seeing those scores, you put all that effort in, and like you said, the scores just are not adding up compared to the other 4. So, well, congratulations on that. How have you personally done with your account on the Mythic Titans?
I feel like I've done pretty well. I've top damage. I've always been in top 100 for all 5 of them. It's making me use heroes that I don't normally use, like Guardian Chameleon. I was actually pretty excited to have him because I leveled him to 370, and you can use him with, like, say, blue, change the Titan color, which is awesome. Norns is another one that I've got 2 at 370 using a bunch, because you only have one Tarlic, you only have one Mickey. You got to spread your heroes around a little bit, which I think is the fun part. You can use some heroes you haven't used much in the past. Even 4 stars, I'm using a bunch of them.
I was gonna say Almer and Nordry suddenly become very important.
That Jot guy.
Yeah, Jot is awesome.
Yep.
Yep. Yeah, I have 2 Jots max now. So talking about rosters, let's get in and talk about this. So I thought I was doing well with a bit over 85 stars fully leveled, but apparently I am still in the amateur hour.
I think me and Zero have the most in the game. I don't know how many he has now, but it's always been, I have a bunch and I ask him how much he has. He always has like 1 or 2 extra. but it goes back and forth. So I checked, I'm at 121 now, so max 5 stars.
121 max 5 stars hero. You are aware we only need 30 for war, right?
Right. So it's so hard to make war teams because I don't want to sit so many out.
So I imagine that you have the same problem that I do. I actually forget about heroes sometimes. Like I'll fight somebody, I'm like, wait a minute, I have that hero too. And I haven't touched them in a while.
I write mine down, so we're all good. Dater calls me pretty nerdy because I have a sheet written down with war teams.
Wow, long, like I do Excel sheets. You're actually writing them down?
No, I do pen and paper. Yeah.
Oh, old school. Well, at least you don't have to back it up, I guess.
I get made fun of a lot. Yeah.
No,
There's pieces of paper scattered around the couch, just different.
and
heroes
I
and
wouldn't,
stuff.
I wouldn't take any of that personally, because anybody who's playing at the level that we are entertaining, there's got to be some embracing of our inner nerd. So, I mean, I was actually laughing earlier today thinking about how many people hated math word problems in school, and this game is just all math word problems. You know, if you go into a battle with 5 heroes and they have an average attack of, I mean, you can just play it out. It's all math.
Yep.
So 121 heroes. Who are your go-to favorites?
I am a big fan of dodge and taunt. So costume Catalan's like one of my best. Really big fan of her. I like Krampus. I got him. Black Knight. I'm more of a defensive player, so anything that can keep my team alive. I'm not really too much into offense. I just want to be able to survive a bad board.
Yeah, I'm starting to get swayed a bit to that. I've always been, my team building has been pretty basic. Elemental defense down, and then 3 heroes to slaughter. But I am starting to really appreciate, with all the dodge and taunt heroes out there, that there is something to be said for some longevity and staying into it. I had an alliance mate, actually Error 4T, in his interview, you would have seen the video at the end of it. He attacked me with just 2 Gillen Bursties and Sif.
Sif is a good one too. I like that one.
Yeah, the reflect is nice.
Yep.
So
I got Dater into the minion attacks. You really like Puss in Boots.
I don't know any of these heroes you're talking about.
You've liked the minion team.
The minion team, yeah, I do. But the other heroes you talked about, I just don't.
Dater says, "Who's this?"
Yeah, I have no clue who they are.
Yeah, that was another very instructional video when you were talking about the synergy between Puss in Boots and Queen of Hearts. Stuff her in a corner somewhere and pull that taunt minion up.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, it's funny. I, for a long time, loathed minion heroes just because I don't like the sound of their special. That dink, 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 dink. Like,
You play with the sound on?
We don't play with the sound on.
No, sound off. That's how we play.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
See, I take audio cues from the game. Like, I need to hear what's going on.
Oh.
So you never play with volume on?
No. The first time I load up the game, muted all the volume. I don't like the sound.
Wow, interesting. Well, that would definitely take care of the dink, dink, dink from the the minions. It's funny. I'm so pre-annoyed at the sound of minions. I don't even like hearing them when mine are going off.
I had no clue what they sound like. Yeah. No.
Well, you're for the better for it. Trust me, because that dink, dink, it's like a finger poking going in the back of your head as they're going off. All right, so let's talk about the Avengers. You're obviously a top alliance that has to keep a very intense pace in pretty much all that you do. How do you manage? How do you keep up with everything?
It's tough. When I first started Avengers, it was not so bad. Our war matching was terrible, so we had plenty of time to build. But getting organized with a top alliance is pretty tough. Recruiting is usually the hardest part of the game. But YouTube and being Dater in UCLA has helped us out a bunch there. But I have a lot of helpers now. We've got a lot of co-leads that take over most of the hard work, and
want to give some shout outs?
We don't have too many rules or anything, but yeah, they take a bunch of the harder work off of me. So
who are they?
Mimi is one of my awesome co-leads that does recruiting now and kind of the day-to-day spreadsheets for wars, keeping track of performances and stuff like that. Ladaka, he is one of our Polish players. He's in our leadership group. T-Bone, also leadership group, does a lot of work with like war general stuff. I'm very picky with wars. People will say all the time that UCLA is getting upset we fail to clean, she's gonna start yelling, and if you fail on the farm, she's just as bad.
I
I'm
can
really
walk
not
into-
that bad.
I can walk into the room and find out if she's in a good mood or bad mood. Oh, I can tell how the war is going based on her.
He's like, "You're happy. You must have won more."
Yeah.
All right, so now you actually just said something subtle there that's very important, I think, for the viewers. Even on the level that you play, it's safe to say that you have members that will fail a clean, right?
Yeah,
So, I mean, it happens to all of us. I think there's this illusion sometimes that once you hit the top, your defenses are impenetrable and your attacks are always perfect. And we are all victims of RNG, no matter how much planning we put into it, no matter how well we move the board around. Sometimes the board is just not going to work. And we've all fat fingered something that we shouldn't have fat fingered.
Oh, many of times.
He does that all the time.
And is it fair to say we've all miscalculated equalizer at some point?
I did that last war even, so.
You know, so we're all human here. So it is what it is. So what strategy do you all, if you know, you're not, if these are in alliance secrets, tell me to shut up, that's fine. But what strategy do you guys use when you face an opponent that has 30 identical teams?
Identical teams, you're talking 7DD. They're like the king of having the same defense. Lately it's been the ninjas. I believe they switched to purple tanks now, so we haven't faced them since the switch, but facing all garnet tanks pretty much with cobalt and onyx wings, yeah, it gets tough. You can bring like the perfect team and those ninjas will just dodge your specials. Or if you get a bad board, it's just gonna punish you a little bit more. If they run 30 barrows, we're in trouble, but I don't think they will.
Bear is one of two F3s, man.
What we do is we'll farm them usually 2 times and pick out the non-garnets. They have maybe like 4 or 5, but we'll get rid of those. Black Knight actually seems like the easier target these days, which is crazy. And then communication's really big for us in war.
Now, so you all play at the same time, or you have it set up by time zones?
I allow anyone to hit when they want. If they want to hit the farm, they can. It usually goes Wednesday, war, our overseas people will be the people that do the farm. No, yeah, I got that right. And then the weekends, it's usually the US because of timing. But if they want to hit the farm, they can hit the farm. It's just they need a one shot.
It must be a one shot.
It must be a one shot if you do the farm.
If you get whipped.
I was gonna say, what is the punishment?
Tater's like, did they mess up the farm?
Excuse me. So that's actually an interesting question. So, all right, so back to business. So this brings up an interesting question. With an alliance on your level, are there certain performance standards that if somebody's not meeting them, they get the boot?
I don't set anything set in stone. Right now, to be added to our wait lists, we want to have certain amount of heroes, troops at max level. We have certain requirements that we require, but and then it's not first come first serve. It's going to be if you're the best fit, we want you. As far as people still in the alliance and me kicking them, that's not going to happen. What?
Don't be stupid.
Don't be stupid. Yeah, that's our one rule.
Don't be stupid.
Yeah.
If you make a stupid decision, make sure I'm not online.
I do know some people who might not be able to follow the don't be stupid rule.
That's why I don't play anymore. I'm not allowed to join. Because I am
So,
definitely
Don't rage clean. That's a big one. We've had some issues with that where you go after a target, like say Garnet target, and get maybe a 5-pointer and then go back right in and fail it.
ouch. Yeah, that hurts.
Yeah, we always want communication after something like that. Just going in and thinking you can do the same thing is not a good idea.
So let's talk attack strategy. 3-2, 2-2-1, 4-1, mono, rainbow. Where are you at?
I've been weird lately. I've been trying a little bit of everything but mono. I'm not huge on 4-1 either. Depending on the heroes, right now against Barra, I'm definitely 3-2. Against Garnet, I had it a little bit different. It was 3-1-1 usually. If I was using Gazelle, I do 2-1-1-1. It just depends on the heroes I'm using and how they work with each other, but mainly 3-2.
So that
Dater was always 3-2.
yeah, always 3-2. No mono, no nothing. No 4-1, nothing like that.
so I like that you brought up Barra. So let's talk about Barra and Freya tanks. Now, I assume that things are going to get a little more confusing in the next few weeks since they just brought back the raid formations.
Yeah.
But assuming the normal raid formation, were you both indicated you're doing 3-2 against Barra Freya. Are part of your 3-2s holy, or are you protecting them as tank? Like, are you looking to get rid of them? Or are you looking at holding on to your mana?
I am looking on holding on to mana. With Barra or Freya, I always limit my holies to 2. I don't do the 3 with them. Just because if you get that big combo, it's going to wipe your mana and that's hard to come back from.
Yeah, I've been noticing with the heroes that add a little bit of mana, like Toxicandra.
Yeah.
She's great because if you fire her, kill Barra, it's they're mutually what's the word I'm looking for? They cancel each other out, so you immediately lose the mana, but immediately get it back. So I've been enjoying that aspect, but that only works if you only have one of them. The teams that have Norns or both dark heroes, you're kind of screwed because you're losing a lot more mana when they die.
Right. I don't have Toxie, so you're lucky there. She's a good one.
Yeah, I actually have 2. I was thinking about leveling up the second one just because I've been enjoying her a lot.
Yeah, she's a good counter. Actually, the new Frost is a good counter with his elemental link.
Yep.
Not for Barra, really, unless you have Aerial, but for Freya, definitely.
What's your feeling on the new raid formations? Now that they're here to stay, apparently.
I thought they were cool at first when we tried the whole global beta thing, but I don't know, I got bored with them. I'm not a huge raider anymore. I used to have, I think I'm over 40,000 raid wins, but yeah, it's just mainly filling a chest for me. I'm not really into raids anymore.
Dater, any feeling on the new formation?
He's like, what is that?
I don't play.
No, you're not playing?
I haven't played the game in how long?
You can change your raid formation so you can do like a backwards V or 2 up front, 3 in the back.
I haven't played in 6 months, 7 months.
It's been a long time.
Maybe longer than that. Yeah, I quit the game.
He used to do wars.
I used to do wars. Wars were the fun part, but then I just kind of got bored with it. It's the RNG type of game. It doesn't fit me long term. I'm not a mobile gamer. I'm more a PC gamer. So that's kind of it's out of my forte for this mobile games. But I probably played the longest that I did because of her. If I wasn't playing with her, then I probably would have never played the game in general.
Yeah, he said it looked stupid.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure the first time
She was
I
at my
started
house.
playing it.
Yeah, she was at my house and she's playing this little, I don't know, you had to move this ball around based on the music, right? And then once you lose, then an ad popped up, right? And Empires and Puzzles showed up. I go, that's such a stupid game. I don't know why anyone would play that. Week later, she comes over to my house and she's playing that game. I was like, oh my God, are you serious? And then she started playing quite a bit, and I started playing off her phone. And then I was like, okay, fine, I'll download it and play it. And that's how she got me started into it.
My fault.
Yep.
Oh, I know how that goes. When I met my wife, I didn't even have a smartphone. And then, you start traveling, you need something to do while you're waiting. And
Yep.
I started playing games on her phone, or she asked me to try to get past a level on some kind of game or other. And then after a few years of that, that's when I found Empires and Puzzles. And she had no interest in the game whatsoever,
Yeah.
but she loves slot machines.
Okay.
So she was doing the summons. I was like, well, this is the hero we're looking for. And then she got into doing summons. And then she actually got her first account just so she could do summons.
Oh, jeez. That's an expensive hobby.
Yeah, it's a very expensive hobby.
So, well, she now has 2 accounts. She has a free account and then her pay account. And she's actually cheap to play. So she doesn't do a lot of she doesn't spend on the level that I do, and I still hand my phone to her and let her do some of the summons because she often has better luck than I do.
I like doing the summons, and she never comes to me to do summons anymore. She does them by herself.
Yeah, we used to do the superstitious pulls.
Well, even if we don't make a video of it, I still like to do the polls.
Really?
Yes, it's fun.
So weird.
That's the only fun part about this game that I still enjoy. But I don't want to spend money.
Yeah, it's
He
the
likes
slot
to
machine.
spend my money. That's it.
Yeah, I'll spend your money. I'll spend my money.
All right, so here's an interesting question for you, UCLA. I know for a fact, because I keep the records on it, I am missing exactly 30 heroes that I don't have. Do you know how many you're missing, or do you have them all?
Oh,
Well, you don't
I'm
have
missing a ton.
Toxicondra, so you're at least missing Tox.
I'm missing all the good ones. No, I'm missing Ariel. That's a big one.
Ouch.
I haven't counted. There's so many. Mother North is one that I've never pulled.
So you're not a collector on that level.
No,
That's too
I
much
have a
money.
lot of doubles. My 121 max are all doubles.
Is there triples in there?
Yeah. Sartana was one that was pretty early, actually. When I started in Crystal Palace, I had 2 Sartanas maxed, and they were just in awe. Back then, it was like 2017.
Right.
And they're like, she has 2 max Sartanas.
I remember the way back when where Leanna, is it Leanna?
Leanna?
Leanna was a tank, and she was just a hard tank.
Yeah.
And at that time, no one had the Ascension to take her to max, so she's a 370 Leanna tank. And that was the most hardest thing in the whole entire game. The good old
Yeah,
days.
back in the day, no one had any max heroes. It was
And then
crazy.
Albie,
You
Albie.
always wanted him.
I always wanted him, never could get him, and he was such a hard tank back in the day. I remember that tank. I was so frustrated.
I used Ares tank. He was my
Ares tank was
first
good.
80.
Those were the good old days. Now these emblems.
Yeah, Ares is one of my 30 that are missing. Bear is one of the 30 that are missing too. So is what it is.
Yeah.
I was missing Frigg for the longest time. I just got her though. That rat I really wanted, but I haven't been able to get him either.
Oh yeah, Ratatoskar, Karnov, and Jot are very important for those massive tile boosts.
Yeah,
So-
they would be nice.
So what's next? I mean, you've dominated many aspects of the game. You continue to be a top alliance. So what's next for you and the Avengers?
I told them yesterday, actually, I said, we're going to be happy when we win every single war. Tater says, you're not going to win every single one. It's
Don't
not
set
possible.
your expectations that high.
I set my expectations really high. I said, let's just win every single one.
Because I have to deal with your attitude when you lose. That's time I just stay away. Yeah, stay in my own room.
I've gotten better, actually. Remember
Yeah, you've
when
gotten
I
better.
used to get so upset?
Yeah.
Are there broken
I've gotten
phones?
A lot better. No, I never broke a phone.
Wait. Didn't you throw a phone? You did.
No
You threw a
comment.
phone.
I don't remember that.
Did you break it?
Happen. I didn't break a phone.
You threw a phone. I remember you throwing a phone because
Yes, I
it was
threw
on
a
the
phone.
event.
I didn't break it.
It was on the event.
Oh, wow.
You threw the phone.
Welcome to
I don't know
Empires
if
and
you-
Books Confessions.
No, I'm too cheap. I would never throw a phone.
No,
broke
that
anything
was the
like that.
crappy phone that wasn't working.
one?
After I figured out that your phone was better than mine on
Yeah.
the event, I was like,
Yeah,
actually,
you threw it, and that's when you went to go get a new phone.
yeah,
Yeah.
that was the first time I threw my phone.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. The first time.
That was
The
there
truth-
multiple?
I'm pretty sure there was a war where I was upset and just threw it.
Too
All right.
much emotions. Too many emotions.
So
Emotions run high in UCLA wars.
all right. So I guess we know what is next for you in the future. It's a padded room that's cell phone safe.
Yeah.
So do you know what the Avengers record is? What's the win streak record? How many wars in a row? Do you know?
I think we had 14 in a row fairly recently. I didn't count when we first started. We had like 3 months of bad matching, so that doesn't count. But yeah, we've been up and down. We've lost to 70 a handful of times. We've lost to Kobier more than we've lost to 70D, which is crazy. And we lost to Aggressive once on a very fast war. But that's it. We've won every single other one.
Nice. Do you know what your personal win streak record is as far as one shots? I
I
saw
don't. We don't keep track.
yeah, a few weeks or maybe it's a few months ago now, Mr. Spock went like 24, 25 one shots in a row in war. And since he did that, I've been watching mine. I've gone 10 twice. I just can't, that 11th one eludes me.
I don't think you've ever kept track of that.
No, we've never
Yeah.
kept track of one shots.
Mhm.
I mean, we keep track of averages in Avengers, but never one shots.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind getting a side job with Small Giant, giving them ideas for their data page in the game. Like, I think there's so many other cool records that we could be looking at that we just don't have unless we number crunch them
Yeah.
ourselves.
It's too expensive for them to put in the game, so that I can do it.
So let's talk about season 4 and power creep and tiles that do damage to us.
That is crazy. Yeah, we need to do live war again so you can see this weirdness.
No, I'm good.
So, yeah, Professor Leidenbrock is probably my favorite season 4 hero. She's crazy good. The passive on that is different because her first charge is pretty much average. Charge and says slow, which once you get her charged, then she's just gonna heal throughout the whole thing. And me being a defensive player, of course, I like her. So, the Ghost Girl Lepiota.
Yep.
Is another one. I didn't get her, but I tried her out in beta and I really liked her.
Yeah, I'm loving her. Professor Lindenbach, of course, is one of the 30 that I'm missing. So I didn't get either of the holy heroes.
So good.
What's your feeling on Akarog? He's the strongest hitting holy hero, but that's if he doesn't rearrange to your detriment.
Yeah, that's kind of weird. I mean, the rearrange doesn't really do much for me. I have summoned him like 4 times and he's never been featured. So
Wow.
Yeah, been lucky to get him, but I don't have him maxed or anything. He wasn't one of my favorites. Yeah, maybe in defense he just because he hits harder, but I still feel like Odin's better.
Yeah, I don't know that I could argue with that at this point. When season 4 first came out, I was actually chasing Akarog just for the that strong hit 3 potential. But the more I'm seeing him play and player feedback, I'm not nearly as enthused to pull him.
Yeah.
But Lepiota, she's becoming. I'm finding myself really fascinated with these characters that do something unique. So Lepiota is definitely one of those. So I'm just starting her on her emblem path. She's only on 3 nodes at this point, but I see her having a future in my gameplay.
Yeah, with her, the draw was that you can get rid of the tank basically and make it tankless clean. Almost, you can ghost tiles right down the center, get your specials, take out everybody. Or you can put her on like Frigg and stop her from demolishing your team. Rush Wars, I can see her being pretty awesome versus Alf. You can stop that mindless attack before that happens. So yeah, I saw a lot of use for her.
So there's here's an interesting synergy for you, and I plan on trying this at least in the next Rush tournament, and that's Lepiota paired with Lord Loki. So you steal one of the enemies while you're ghosting either that one or another.
Yeah. And I don't have Lord Loki either. but yeah, he's also pretty cool.
I'm looking forward to stealing somebody's Alfreak and then ghosting them.
Yep, that'd be awesome.
The oh man, I had a last question in there and it just completely escaped me. Is there other hero synergies that you haven't already shared on your channel that you've been finding unique to match up?
I've been messing a lot with Frost. I really like his synergy with Krampus. He's been doing really well with Freya too. My newest team has had the Professor because I just leveled her with Anatel, Fog, Evelyn, and Frigg. And it's got the minor heal from Evelyn and Anatel, and then it's also got the family bonus for season 4 with Fog and the Professor, which has been, I haven't lost with it yet. It's been pretty good.
Nice.
Especially for Sparrow.
Any heroes coming up that you're excited to be chasing?
I've told myself that I'm not chasing heroes anymore. And then the Professor comes out in season 4. I'm like, dang it. Jader would love to do some pulls. No, I don't have anybody right now. I got the Professor just this last season 4 and thought my teams were looking pretty good right now. So unless they come out with a new tank, I'm pretty much set. Toxie would be nice. Isrod would look pretty cool, but I like Riposte. And I like that mana gen, but nothing that I would go crazy for.
All right. So, and I did remember when I had a pause there, I remember the thought that escaped me. You had mentioned about not having Lepiota, but that you played with her in beta. Let's talk a little bit about beta, because I don't think, let's assume that the viewer knows nothing about the concept of beta. Can you just kind of share how that works?
Yeah, we got beta a long time ago.
Beta.
We haven't really even used it that much. I actually lost my...
Beta was...
What?
Broken way back when?
Oh, we've got a lot of beta issues.
Tons of beta issues.
They let us in beta and they probably regretted it because we started arguments.
Yeah, we did, because what they're doing was just dumb.
I don't like how they have beta set up.
Okay, let me paint the picture for you.
Here we go. We got data going.
Hey, you got me out going off beta. All right, so the events when they first started, right? We had no clue how they were scored, right? So the game's released, events are released, and then you just move tiles and hope you scored. You didn't know what the scoring, you didn't know how it scored, you didn't know it was based on time, you didn't know it was based on moves, you didn't know it was based on anything. The beta players before that had access to it and was able to learn that system, learn how it scored, learn how to use items and all like that. They did not share how to do it. Those beta players didn't. And I remember when we first started out with the events, I messaged someone and go, "Hey, you scored pretty good. How do you get these scores on these events?" You know what he replied back with? A smiley face. That's it.
So proud of
So then, yeah, it pissed me off. Sorry if I'm. Yeah. So then we were just down here thinking. Of course, we didn't have beta access at this time, and we were just thinking, okay, how's the score? And we came up with an idea, and then we started running with it on the next event. We used the next event as a learning, and then we learned how it scored, and then we went for it the following event, and that's when we started dominating the events, and that's when we shared how events are done. But it's just beta it was so groomed to the top players at that time just to give them better access and better I don't know how I was going with that, but it just basically made those top players even better, while the other players had to suffer, just had to learn from it. And then we also come across another issue with beta where the events were scored. You can see your score in beta. So there's players actually that were running for the events in the main game, and they're also running for it in beta to see their exact same score, what their top out could be. If I use this item here or this item here on the first stage or second stage, what could my score be? And they were doing that in beta. So when the event came out on the real game, they would do that same strategy that they learned in beta. And once we found out about that, oh my God, I blew up the forum. I was so pissed off. And I blew up that forum and I tagged all the moderators in there and just got them all involved. And it actually got us beta access to it because I guess I complained so much. But we also got a lot of that stuff removed out of beta to make it fair for players, other players that did not have beta access. And that's what started me this path of just hating this game, is how small giants just groomed or tailored to the top spenders or the top players in the game. And that's what kind of pissed me off about this game. The beta as a whole is sore subject with me.
I see that. So for those who might not be familiar, beta is basically a program where players can sign up and join beta, which is basically a duplicate game, but it's where you can test out new features of the game before they're released to the public. So anybody who's been playing for a bit was part of the global beta testing of the raid formations that we all did for about a month, and now they've refined them, I guess, and released them, and now they're part of the game. So let's understand the mechanics of how beta works, because I think players sometimes don't get it. My understanding, so like they come out with Lepiota and they want to do that. Do they just give you all the new heroes and they're already maxed, or do you still have to summons them? Like, how does that work?
Well, any new hero they're going to give in your inbox, you collect them, and then they're already maxed, not emblem max, but you can reset. They give you like 10k gems to do whatever you want, and then cost of food and iron is 1 gem. They lower that so you can max them and put them on your defense. Raid as many times as you want. You've got unlimited flags. Farm if you really wanted to.
And just
you can test any of them.
And just so players are clear, the heroes they give you in beta, you don't actually have in your live game.
Correct.
So
you still have to spend money for them.
Now, so season 4, they want to beta test season 4. Everybody gets these new season 4 heroes. Are they always in that roster in beta then, or do they get pulled out at some point?
With every single new beta, you don't get to keep the previous one, so they're going to be pulled out. When they release a new version of beta, you have to download the app. Then you get the set heroes that they're testing for that edition of beta. And then they'll kick you out of that one when it's done testing, and then
But
you
it
lose
pulls
those
in your
heroes.
current
Yeah,
in-game
your current heroes you get to keep.
Yeah. So whatever you are in the main game is what you take to beta, and then whatever
Yeah, it
heroes are
copies
testing,
your
you get
account.
added. That's
Gotcha.
about it.
Okay, that makes sense. So now you were saying about how things are cheaper in beta as far as food and that. Can you use that to level up your regular in-game heroes?
Yep. You can test your heroes in beta. Say you've got a 370 Lepiota that you don't know if you'll like maxed, you can max them in beta and then go back to your regular game. They're still 370.
Oh, okay. So you don't keep whatever increase that you've done while you were in beta.
Right. You just
Okay.
get to test it.
And how do weapons work? Like, do you have unlimited scrolls and
No, you
axes
get
and arrows?
what you transfer over. What some people were doing back with the beta scandal that Tater was talking about. You can install as many as you want, though. So you can log into beta and then use all your items and then recopy your account, and it gives you your items back that you had in real game. So it's pretty much unlimited.
Oh, interesting.
So they could test the event as many times as they want to get the strategy refined.
Sure.
For free.
They
For
stopped
free.
testing old events because of us.
Yeah, no. Yep.
Oh, awesome. Any final words of wisdom you'd like to share with the viewers?
I don't have any words of wisdom. That's all you.
Don't get upset. This is the pot cow, the kettle flag. Don't get upset with bad boards. They happen to everybody. I don't take this advice.
Nope.
But yeah, like you said at the beginning, we have failed cleans too. It happens. You can't control RNG. Even at this level, even with 121 max 5 stars, you can't control a win if you just get dealt crappy boards. So this game is easy to get frustrated with, especially with summons. So yeah,
Don't
chase heroes.
Don't
either.
chase heroes.
True stories.
Don't chase heroes unless you're worth millions and millions of dollars.
Which we're not.
We're not,
hear
so
that.
we don't chase it.
Set a budget, be responsible,
Exactly.
step away from the slot
That
machine.
would be smart.
Yep, exactly. So true.
Well, thank you for those words of wisdom. On behalf of myself, Empires and Puzzles Books, and the viewing community, thank you for all that you've been doing, will continue to do, and have participated in this interview. Thank you so much for your time today. It was an absolute pleasure talking to you and getting to know you a bit outside the game. Thank you.
Yep, thank
Thank
you.
you.
When possible, I'd like to end these videos with an attack and revenge between myself and the interviewee. Unfortunately, I do not have a video of uclapack or Dater attacking my defense. I do have one of me attacking her, actually a few, so I will put one of those up. But the first video I'm going to show is actually Dater using their account on Legendary 10 of Avalon. So you'll get an idea of what a top score looks like running through one of the higher levels of the challenge events. Enjoy that video, and then I'll follow up with one of my attacks on uclapack.
you